My partner Brandon and I actually met on Tinder and have a 7-year age gap. I nearly had a teen pregnancy. I actually fell pregnant just on the weekend of my 20th birthday, which for some part I was expecting, as I did always want to be a young mum. But at 20 years old and only 4 months after starting to date my partner off Tinder was something that I never thought would happen in a million years. I had a pretty rough and traumatic childhood, and as a result I don't speak to either of my parents anymore. I moved out of home for this reason at 18, and yes, it was terrifying. By 19, I had met Brandon on Tinder. The year I turned 19, started talking to Brandon, and by the end of that year we were dating, and 4 months later I was pregnant and I hadn't even met his parents yet. Brandon wasn't local to where I lived, so he was from the other side of the country, and so were his parents, which made it difficult for me to meet his parents. With that all being said, I got pregnant 4 months after we started dating, but we had been speaking a year prior, so it was about a year and 4 months total of us knowing each other before I fell pregnant. My life has been a genuine roller coaster of trauma up until the point of meeting Brandon, and so everything happened really quickly after meeting him, and I still cannot believe that this is where my life is at now. Brandon and I have now owned our home for just under 6 months, and now 6 months later are about to pack up and move to the other side of the country. In a little over a month, my family of 3 are ditching a 3-bedroom house and moving to a 1-bedroom apartment on the other side of Australia. So that comes with a lot of nerves, but it also comes with a lot of excitement because I get to do something that I am secretly obsessed with, which is interior design. We never got around to completely renovating the place that we're in at the moment. A few of you are probably wondering why it is that we're choosing to move from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. There are a lot of factors that are making up the decision as to why we are downgrading and moving into a 1-bedroom unit with a baby as well. The first reason is because she is a baby. She doesn't really need her own room at the moment. Brandon owns the unit that we're moving into. We're not having to pay rent, which means that Brandon can have longer off work and spend some quality time with Delilah and myself before baby number 2 comes along. Not pregnant that I know of yet. We still think it's so important to just have that time together as a family of 3 before it turns into absolute chaos. So Delilah is 6 months now, and we plan on being sort of out of that unit when she turns 1. When she's 1, baby number 2 could be on the scene, so we don't want to be smushed in the small apartment. It's so crazy how much can change in the space of a few years. I literally met Brandon 2 years ago. We now have a daughter, and now I'm moving over to the other side of Australia, which I never thought in a million years I would be doing. It's completely out of my comfort zone. I'm also so in need of a big change. Lila being 6 months, there's always that topic of baby number 2, and I feel like I am never going to be able to pick the correct age gap. My plan has always been to have 3 babies in total, so postpartum I was really shocked that I actually didn't feel the same way anymore. But now that she's 6 months, I feel like that feeling of forgetting everything has happened. She's getting to a really cute stage, and I'm like, oh, I could probably do another. I personally feel like there's no perfect age gap. However, my plan was to always have them 3 years apart in age. I felt like that would be pretty perfect and suit our family really well, but now I'm not so sure. I sort of want to have them closer together, but at the same time, I'm just not fully ready for that. So I also wasn't expecting Brandon to be ready as early as he was. His mindset is pretty much when you're ready, I'm ready. So it could be within the next 2 months. It could also be within the next 2 years. This is what my 12 to 9 p.m. looked like as a 20-year-old stay-at-home mum on a Saturday. I actually went to get my hair done this morning, and Brandon just watched Delilah at home for the first time, which was nerve-wracking, but he did such a good job. We all chilled out and watched some Dance Mums for a bit, and then I headed off to the shops just to grab some little bits and bobs that we needed. This was the most random shop I've done in a while, and sometimes I just wonder what the cashiers see every day. Brandon was tipping his hair blonde, and Delilah just had a little bottle before she had her bath. We do our best to give Delilah a bath every single night, as we feel that this helps with her routine and her sleeping through the night better. Literally everything in this bath, including the bath, is from Kmart, so if you're wondering, that's where it's from. Something about a baby after a bath is 20 times cuter. Look at the squish! Delilah went down at 7:30 and we just started a deep clean of the house. Yes, it's still bright at 7:30 in Australia, and why were we struggling so hard to make this bed? When I went to Coles, I did a huge impulsive cleaning shop, so I bought all new cleaning supplies, and it's just motivated me so much to clean the rest of the house. I just wiped down all the tables, and then I planned on mopping and vacuuming as well. I swear no matter how many times I vacuum a week or a day, it never feels clean enough, and there's always still things under my feet, so I always end up wearing shoes. Delilah just had another quick bottle, and then I started to mop. Since we moved into our new house, I've just been using the Kmart spray and wipe mop, but I feel like it just wasn't cleaning the floors enough, and wait until you see the colour of the water after I mop with this mop. I told you, absolutely disgusting. We didn't end up having dinner until 9 o'clock and Brandon just whipped up some quesadillas, which were actually so good.
I feel like I've just been on a roller coaster. That seems a little bit like what her life has been for the past few years by the sounds of it. You know, she meets a new partner on Tinder, and 2 years later she's got a child and moving across the country at 20 years old. Well, yeah, fell pregnant on the weekend of her 20th birthday, so yeah, at least at the end Brandon made some quite nice looking quesadillas, so they look pretty good, so she's done alright for herself there. But yeah, I'm talking about baby 2, baby 3, 6 months after giving birth, so it sounds like they might end up having, you know, quite a big family, so good for them. You know, it's quite often you hear horror stories from dating apps such as Tinder, but it seems that this one's gone quite well, so hopefully it carries on going well for them, and yeah, hopefully not moving to the other side of Australia now. Hopefully they can just settle, find a new flat after they move out of their 1-bedroom apartment in the unit. So yeah, fingers crossed for them.